When you study architecture at Brighton, we're conscious that we want you to find your position within the architectural practice as you go through your career. You walk into a really strong sense of a studio culture and a community. We've worked hard to set up the studio so they feel as though it's a place that is your family and that you can nest within it, and it is a support network.
You kind of pick up some pretty close friends and you get to know each other quite well as a year, rather than just if you're on a course, say, where you dip in for a lecture, go home again and spend a lot of your time at home, spend a lot of time in the studio together working, so I guess you sort of build a nice little community.
One of the things that we really encourage at Brighton is this idea of learning through making and learning through doing. Our workshops and technical facilities are integrated into our design studio.
Before I came here, I didn't even know how to use a drill, and now I'm making like these big models, which is really fun thanks to the technical staff. This is a really great opportunity to bring all your different skills together to create something that not is necessarily just a pretty building. It's more about thoughtful process and different skills that you can bring in and really show yourself off.
We've got fantastic workshop facilities with technicians who are also designers or doing PhDs.
I chose MA in architecture at Brighton because I think every architecture school have its own style, and then which I found the style in Brighton is very unique.
So the studio culture is a very important part of learning. It's a place where we are encouraging students to learn alongside each other, and that starts to then mimic what they will find when they're in practice.
As a course, it's quite interdisciplinary, and that helps a lot because it is undergraduate still, so most people don't have a clear idea of what they want to do in the future. So it does help to give you hints, how is it to work in the real world. And so we bring in a variety of different practitioners and researchers so that you can test out different methods and ways of thinking about architecture and spatial practice.
The architecture course at Brighton is very artistic or very creative, and they really encourage you to really think outside the box. All of my projects have had some sort of material experimentation through them. It's something that I really love, and I've always been encouraged to carry on doing more of that by lecturers, by technicians.
There's often a sense in academia that the feedback is the written piece of work, but actually the really important part of feedback is that you're constantly discussing your projects. So your feedback might be when you're having a conversation with a tutor down the corridor, or it might be sitting next to a friend who's also asking you questions about their project.
I think the facilities in here was great. We got kind of like big studios, kind of like contain of really big studio space. Much more space can be kind of used to make models, and then much more materials, and also that we have brought 2 more 3D printers in there, which is really convenient.
So the way we organise student support at Brighton University is fairly unique, and it seems to work very well in this way. You can offer pastoral support, help students with their general well-being. Because I'm located at local level and I'm very accessible to students, so they can just knock on the door, and there's quite a lot of flexibility. It means that I can work very closely with the students and the tutors.
So overall, I really find inspiring the fact that every lecturer has a different background. So if someone has a more artistic approach, they can relate to artists, lecturers that have also professional practices, so it's not just academics.
So architecture is a fantastic degree to take because it brings together 3 different areas of thinking, and that's the social sciences, it's the technology and engineering, and it's the arts-based practice, which means that the choices of the direction of travel and the pathways you take into employment are huge and varied.